Dear devotees, dear spiritual seekers, we are together again in our discussions about bhakti. And today we will have a very interesting topic, and this topic is power of association. Because in life we are always associating, and the association we take shapes our view of the world and shapes our character and can really transform us for the better or for the worse. So I will start by reading one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, and then I will continue also from some other excerpts from other books like Nectar of Instructions. And I will answer three main questions. So these questions are: how do the devotees, which mean the practitioners of Bhakti Yoga, how do they uplift each other? How do degrade each other? And why is association essential? So we will start now with the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 3, text number 30. Parasparanukhatanam Pavanam Bhagavat Yashaha Mitoratir mitastushtir Nivritir mita atmanaha. Translation: one should learn how to associate with devotees of the Lord by gathering with them to chant the glories of the Lord. This process is most purifying. As devotees thus develop their loving friendship, they feel mutual happiness and satisfaction. And by thus encouraging one another, they are able to give up material sense gratification, which is the cause of all suffering. So, purport. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, those who are advanced in Krishna consciousness should not envy one another or quarrel among themselves. Giving up all such mundane feelings, they should gather together and chant the glories of the Supreme Lord for mutual purification. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has pointed out that glorification of the Supreme Lord is especially potent when performed in the association of pure devotees. When devotees engage in Sankirtana, chanting the glories of the Lord together, they experience the highest transcendental bliss and satisfaction. Thus, they encourage one another to give up material sense gratification, which is based on illicit sexual connections with women or men. One devotee will say to another, "Oh, you have given up sense gratification. Starting today, I shall also give it up." One should learn to increase one's love for the devotees, to satisfy them, and to give up sense objects unfavorable to serving Krishna. And one should learn to view the entire universe as paraphernalia for the Lord's service. By engaging the objects of the senses in Krishna's service, one automatically becomes detached from them. And as one passes one's days in the association of the Lord's devotees, one's transcendental ecstasy increases more and more to discussions about the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, one who wants to be free from the harassment of Maya in the form of sense gratification must constantly associate with pure devotees of the Lord who have no engagement other than chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord and carrying out his mission on the earth. Srila Madhvacharya has pointed out that just as one should cultivate friendship with devotees, one must cultivate a spirit of friendship toward the demigods who manage the universe on the Lord's behalf. Thus, one should live peacefully within this world. So very beautiful, beautiful verse, which reveals to us the essence of the proper association with devotees. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchanga Gorange Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today, so what did we read in this verse? In this verse, we read that we need to learn how to associate properly with the devotees of the Lord. And this proper association is by gathering together with them and chanting the glories of the Lord. And this is the method, this is the way to associate with the devotees of the Lord and also to enable one another to develop loving relationships with the devotees. Because when we are on the path of bhakti, we cannot make progress alone, just on one's own. It is not possible. The path of bhakti, bhakti yoga, is the path of mercy, and it is very personal process. Personal in the sense that we are trying to approach a personal God who is a person, a most loving person, most beautiful person. And in order to achieve this goal and to awaken one's dormant love for him, we need the association of those who are also on the same path. Because we need the support and we need the encouragement of the fellow practitioners, especially those who are even farther on the path, who are more advanced than we are. So this can be a little different from other spiritual paths, especially from the path of jnana, the impersonal realization, where the practitioners tend to be more self-sufficient in a sense. They rely more on their own strength, on their own power. But on the path of bhakti, we understand that we are not very powerful, that we are actually quite small, and we need help, we need support, and we need encouragement. So what I wanted to share here first is the verses from the Nectar of Instruction. And the Nectar of Instruction is a very small book which does not have many verses. There are not many verses here at all. There are only 11 verses altogether. But in these 11 verses, it is delineated actually the entire path of bhakti, from the very beginning to the ultimate success. And for our discussion today, the 3 verses are most important, and these are text 4, text 5, and text 6. And what do we find in text 4? Dadati pratigrinati guyam akyati prichati bhunkte bhojayate chaiva shatvidam pritilakshanam. And this means offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasadam and offering prasadam are the 6 symptoms of love, shared by one devotee and another. So this verse is also teaching us how to associate with the devotees, how to properly associate with the devotees in a way in which we can develop loving friendships with the devotees. So we have 3 things. We have offering them prasada. Prasada actually means sanctified food. This is food which has been cooked, prepared with love and devotion, and then offered to the deity or to the picture of the Supreme Lord. And then the remnants, after it has been offered, the remnants is sanctified food. It's actually food for the soul, food for the heart, food which purifies the person from karma, food which purifies the consciousness and uplifts the consciousness. So when we share this prasadam with the devotees and also accept prasadam from them, this is a loving exchange. And in this way, we are developing friendship. And then the second is guyam akyati prichati, that we speak confidentially, and usually it's like this, that one devotee would inquire, would present some questions, sometimes some doubts, sometimes he has some difficulty, and then another devotee, usually more experienced, more senior, would offer some advice. And actually, this happens very naturally when the devotees associate together and read together spiritual books like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and also Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion. So when the devotees come together and start reading these books and then discussing these topics, then there is opportunity for a very intimate exchange. And this intimate exchange, which also includes revealing one's mind, and asking questions, asking advice, and then giving advice is a way for deepening the relationships among the devotees, and also for establishing very deep, loving friendships. And the same thing is stressed in the verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, which I read. And it specifically says that as one passes his days in such association with devotees, one's transcendental ecstasy increases more and more through discussions about the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So when we are associating with devotees in such a way that we read together, that we discuss then these topics together, there is a lot of joy in these activities. And devotees become very, very blissful, very, very happy. This is, it's a very sublime kind of happiness. It is not material happiness, it is spiritual happiness. And it's very deep and very satisfying. It satisfies the heart. It actually satisfies us on the deepest level. Very, very fulfilling. So when the devotees have such deep exchanges, their mutual relationships, their mutual loving relationships develop. And there is also another very important thing that happened. And this is that devotees develop their desires and their ambitions according to the company of other devotees. So if one devotee is in the association of other devotees who are very mature devotees, who are very strict devotees, practice spiritual sadhana in a very nice way, then just by this association, just by these discussions, just by this revealing of one's mind, a devotee will imbibe within himself these spiritual values and spiritual desires and ambitions that those more senior and more advanced devotees have, with whom he associates. This is actually the most quick way how to advance. If we have such an association on a regular basis, if we can regularly associate in such a way, then very, very quick advancement happens. And we can also see here in this verse and the purport how from such association devotees get so much spiritual strength. And what is spiritual strength? Spiritual strength is ability to focus one's mind on the spiritual platform, to focus one's mind on Krishna, on the topics of Krishna, on the holy name of Krishna, on the form of Krishna, and on the service, and to detach one's mind from material allurements, from material sense gratification. Because in this world, one of the greatest obstacles on the spiritual path is material enjoyment, which binds the conditioned soul. But when a devotee gets spiritual strength, then he can easily become detached from material enjoyment and become more and more absorbed in the spiritual service and spiritual activities. So this is the power of association. And in such association, devotee can quickly develop spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. So now, this also answers the first question. How do devotees uplift each other? Devotees uplift each other through this proper association when they gather together, when they chant together, when they take prasadam together, when they read these spiritual books together and discuss them, and also when they exchange different gifts among each other. This is also the way to uplift each other, very practical way to uplift each other and develop loving friendship. So now let me answer the second question. The second question is how devotees degrade each other. So this is unfortunate event. We don't want this to happen. But it is important that we can understand when the association can become degrading, so that we can avoid this way of associating. So when association becomes degrading, here, in order to understand this better, we will briefly touch upon the other two verses from Nectar of Instruction, and this is the verse 5 and 6. In the verse 5, we can read about the 3 types of devotees, and this is according to their levels of advancement. And these levels of advancement are, the first level is Kanishta Adhikari, the second level is Madhyama Adhikari, and the third level is Uttama Adhikari. This basically means Kanishta is the beginner practitioner of Bhakti Yoga. Madhyama is he is somewhere in the middle on the second level, and Uttama is on the highest level of advancement in the spiritual path of Bhakti. And this particular gradation is according to the faith or shraddha, how much faith they have in Krishna and in this process of Krishna consciousness, and also in the Shastra or the scriptures. So the greater the faith, the greater the advancement is. And the important thing is that we understand how to associate properly with each kind of the devotee on each of the levels. It is very important to follow the etiquette or the basic rules of conduct. So the basic rules of conduct have to be observed, so that we can have respectful dealings with every kind of devotee. This is very important. So if we do follow this, that we have respectful dealings, that we associate in a proper way, then we are protected, and we will only benefit from the association of any kind of a devotee. We will only benefit. However, if we do not follow the etiquette, if we are not respectful, then we will degrade ourselves. We will degrade ourselves within the association of devotees, and it will be our fault. We will cause the degradation by our not following the respectful dealings and proper etiquette. And so I may say a little more about this if we have some questions, and then we have some discussion. But here, let's move on now to the next verse, and this is verse number 6. And this verse especially points out the greatest danger. The greatest danger, why sometimes in a devotee circle, in the association of devotees, the dealings become not respectful. So, and this danger is to have a material vision of another devotee. So, how does this happen? Like, for example, we see another person, another devotee, and from a material point of view, from a material vision, this devotee may have some defects. So what can be the defect? Perhaps he has some bodily defect. He may be ugly, or he may be diseased, or he may be invalid, or he may also have some defect, like a fault in his character or in his behavior. So, for example, he can be harsh or rude or like lethargic. So, when we, because of this, when observing this kind of fault, if then another person is criticizing this devotee for these faults, this is not proper. This criticism is not proper. This criticism is considered to be offensive. It is considered to be offensive, and it can lead to degradation of the person who is critical. Why? Because sometimes we can see that even devotees who are advanced or even very advanced may still exhibit some fault, some real fault. They may still exhibit some fault, not only physical, bodily fault, but even fault in their character or behavior. It can still be there, but the person is very advanced. So, and then if we focus on this fault, and then we start criticizing this fault and speak around and, advertising this fault, then this is a great offense. And the more advanced the devotee is, the greater reaction there is for the person who is criticizing, and the person who is criticizing is degrading themselves. So we have, and here actually are some of these faults more. We have like a whole list of these faults that usually become object of criticism. So bodily defects, then the second, low birth. Sometimes some people criticize some devotee because of his low birth. Maybe he was born in a very poor family, or maybe even very degraded family. It is possible. And so somebody is criticizing now this devotee for his low birth. Then somebody will criticize a devotee because a devotee made some mistake. And mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. Even advanced devotees can make mistakes. So if then we criticize this mistake and we speak around about this mistake, then this is offense. Then if we envy the devotee, so this is another very, very big obstacle, and it is here in the same list. So this is additionally, many times it can happen because we may have some impurity in our own heart, and because of our impurity, we may perceive some defect in another devotee. And sometimes the defect is even not there. Sometimes the defect is even not there, but we perceive the defect because of our own impurity and because of our jealousy or envy. And most of the time, we are not aware of this. This is the greatest difficulty, is that usually such a person is not aware that I'm actually envious, that I'm actually jealous. Because we can see, like in the material world, people are naturally envious or jealous of those who are more elevated, who are more successful, who are more beautiful, who are more learned, who are more rich. So then other people are envious and jealous, and this jealousy and envy is then exhibiting in criticism, in different kinds of attacks and intrigue, and trying to bring other person down. So this same kind of mentality can be still present also in spiritual community. Because when we come to the spiritual community, we are not all completely purified in our heart. We still have these bad tendencies in our heart. So envy and jealousy is still within our heart, quite for some time before it gets completely purified. So we may become jealous and envious of a devotee because of his advancement. Because we are maybe neophyte, or maybe we are not so neophyte regarding how many years we have been already practicing. We may have been practicing bhakti for years or decades, but maybe we didn't make much advancement. So then if we see another person, another devotee, sometimes maybe even like a newcomer, like a neophyte, newcomer, but exhibiting some level of spiritual advancement and maturity, then we may become very envious and jealous. This is like a natural reaction that can happen in the heart of such a person. And this is, a person is many times not even consciously aware of his or her envy and jealousy. This is most often is like this. And how does this envy or jealousy manifest? It manifests in such a way that the jealous person will see faults in another devotee whom he is jealous of, or whom he envies. So this is really, really great danger. It's very great danger, because this will certainly bring very serious reactions, very, very serious reactions, because the reactions for offending the devotee are very long-term and very serious, and they do not get purified for a long, long time. Like when we make offenses, sometimes we can make offenses in the beginning of our spiritual path. But the results of these offenses can follow us even when we become eventually, we may even become very advanced, but we may still suffer the results of our previous offenses to the devotees. And sometimes even these results of our offenses can block our devotional path, can actually cover our consciousness, can again ruin our character, so that we start again exhibiting materialistic tendencies. So basically, the greatest obstacle on the path of devotion, bhakti yoga, is offenses towards the devotees. And one of the main sources of defenses is criticism. So, okay, so here we were, envying, and then criticism, of course, and then advising or correcting. So this is also an act of offensive act, particularly if we try to correct or to advise a devotee who is senior to us, so who is more advanced than us. If we try to correct such a devotee, if we try to advise such a devotee, then we are committing offense. However, it is not only in this case that it is improper. Actually, it is also improper to correct or advise other devotees, even devotees who are junior to us, if we are not in a proper position to do this as some kind of authority, like some kind of a teacher or some kind of a manager or temple authority or a mentor. If we don't have any kind of position like this, then we are not actually authorized to correct or to advise other devotees, even if they are junior to us. So this is one condition. And then the other condition is, even if we are in the proper position, but if we do not have a proper relationship with this devotee, even he is a junior, if we don't have some kind of closer relationship with this devotee, then we are also not. We also cannot correct them, because it will not come across in a proper way, and person will not be able to accept it, and it will actually create more damage than benefit for this person. So then also we cannot. And then the third is that we actually, in our heart, we have to have a positive, at least we have to have a positive attitude towards this person, towards these devotees. We have to desire to benefit him or her. We have to desire to benefit him or her, or even better, to have some loving affection for this devotee. In this way, our correction or advice will be very beneficial, and person will be able to accept it. But if we do not have that, and in the other, just in the opposite, we have maybe envy in our heart towards the devotee, who even he may be junior. If we have envy towards the devotee, even if he is junior, we are not qualified to correct such a devotee. We cannot. We are disqualified. We cannot feel envy or enmity towards a devotee and then correct the devotee or advise the devotee. No, this is disqualification. So here we see that correcting another devotee, it's really not such a simple thing, such an easy thing. We have to be qualified. And then also disciplinary action. Sometimes it may be that, yes, that the devotee does something wrong. Even advanced devotee may do something wrong. Sometimes even one's guru can make a mistake, can do something wrong. But does this allow, for example, his disciples to put their guru under disciplinary action? No, it does not. And it would be offensive. So these are all these different dangers that will lead us to degradation. And they will cause our improper association, disrespectful dealings, and consequently the bad results, the results for the offenses, which are really not desirable. So this now I answered the question how devotees can degrade each other. So it's in this way, by disrespectful actions, by improper actions, by envying each other and treating each other in a critical way. So like this. And why association is essential is the last question. So this was already very evident from the verse that I read initially, and what I spoke in the very beginning, that we cannot develop our devotion and our sharanagati, our surrender to the Supreme Lord, just on our own. We need the association of pure devotees, of devotees who are more mature and more advanced than us, because they will actually they will form our our convictions, they will form our desires, they will form our attitudes and our devotional nature. We imbibe actually their nature, their attitudes, their desires. This is the way how to advance on the path of bhakti. So when we have the proper association and we are able to associate in the proper way, we can advance very quickly and enjoy actually so much happiness and bliss in the association of devotees. And on the other hand, we have to be always very vigilant and very careful to always at least practice humility, especially in the association with devotees, to always be respectful to the devotees, to always treat them with kindness, and to always serve them, regardless of whether they are senior to us, on equal level to us, or junior to us. So if we behave in this way, then our progress in bhakti will be very smooth and all the doors will open for us. So I will end here, and I hope it was something inspiring for those of you who have been listening and who will be listen the recording. Hare Krishna.